Hi, this is Umut Kasongo. This is my submission for the level concept video presentation. So here we go. Um, the brief that I chose was memory. I decided to choose memory because it felt easy to do, and I felt like with everything within the memory brief was much easier to do compared to the other ones. The memory brief states that I have to create a project inspired by my memories of a space and time and consider how memories can often be selective and imperfect. So, and then in this case, the memory itself is of me being lost within my flat at a very young age and being unable to find my home and felt like something was following me. So the level concept design. The game will take place in a building. You play as a young kid trying to figure out which floor you live in, while making sure that whatever is following you doesn't catch up. The game takes place in person, and your main objective is to collect clues, notes, and batteries as well. They'll be scattered around the game, but you want to collect notes that will help you figure out where you're trying to go and which number is your flat or home. Um, the main crux of the game is that every time you progress, the lights will turn off behind you, and if you stay in the darkness for far too long, you will fail the mission. And basically, this matches up with the memory where a young kid being scared, and the light shutting off felt like the electricity was going and stuff like that, and I was basically scared and trying to figure out. And I've decided to add clues because at that time I didn't know where I was going, so uh, easy clues to try to figure out. So clues will have notes like, oh, this person lives here, and you know this person is this amount of floors below you, or this amount of floors um, above you. The interaction elements. The main interaction of the game would be the clues and the lights within the game. I'd scatter clues around each floor of the building, which will leave a cryptic message and backstory so the player can progress the game. There will even be fake notes where they will take your time. So, say you find a fake note and the lights are shutting behind you, you pick it up and you see there's nothing on it, and you know the lights are even closer and you have to progress the mission faster. So, meaning you leave behind maybe batteries. There will also be batteries scattered around. You will have a flashlight which will allow you to go back into dark areas and pick up. These flashlights and these batteries will only last a certain amount, so you go in, get that item you're looking for, and get the hell out, because if you don't, you will lose a battery and it has a chance for you to fail the game. There will be very few batteries scattered around the game, so that it becomes more about management and taking the risk. Like, say you have one battery left, are you willing to take the risk and take that note so you can figure out where you're going, or will you just forget about it and try to figure out everything else? The notes, I will make sure that they are randomized so that when your first playthrough, if you go through, you die on the third floor and you're like, oh, this said this, you would come back on the third floor and says, oh, I know this note. Maybe a randomized version of the note so you can get different types of progression rather than it being always the same. Or I might just leave it to be the same so it's more difficult depending on how far you go within the game. The research. The research I intend to do is on the type of game you. The research I intend to do is the type of game you would see on itch.io, the horror games. These are fantastic. These are fantastic and a good fit for the mood for the type of game I intend to build. I intend to figure out the mechanics for the flashlight, how to make the darkness an end game. So if you're staying in the dark for far too long, you would fail. And I also intend to figure out the mechanics for picking up clues, reading the clues, and being able to stash those clues in your inventory and being able to pull them back up so you can see them again. The genre of the game I intend to do is an analog horror game. Analog horror games are a type of horror content that looks old fashioned and uses things like low quality graphics, mysterious messages, and styles that remind you of TV and recordings from a long time ago. It's called analog horror because it uses the style of old electronic devices like old TVs and VHS tapes, which were used for recordings in the past. This style will make it feel like the horror game or horror story is happening in the past, which matches within my brief. So at this current moment, I've got the brief, I've got the the layout of the game, I've been using Unreal Engine 5 for the layouts for each and every level. At the current moment, I'm trying to figure out how to do flashlights and clues. That is where I'm currently stopped at, and I intend to progress and get all of my documents ready and make sure that I have a working model of the game. Thank you for listening.